Ladies and gentlemen, that worked out perfect. Welcome to episode 77 of Brat Said That. I am your host, Brad Jackson, along with my co-producer, Chad LGBT. Hope everybody had a great week. It is Friday. It is hot out there. But let me tell you, Bratomania is still running wild on YouTube. That's right. We're excited. We're back. This week's episode. We were in a little lull period. We talked about that. You know, it's the middle of July. It's a lull period. So we've been posting like once a week. But we're going back. Yeah, brother. We're going back to 2 nights a week next week. I'm excited. And you know, it's been a good day. Really good day. But we need to talk about it. The theme is, yes, Hulk Hogan. The biggest, the most... wrestler you can think of. The reason why we're all here, the reason why, you know, the business is where the business is at or was in the 80s and 90s and even in the 2000s. Hulk Hogan is the biggest wrestling figure of all time. He is really just immortal. He passed away, yes, 1 year ago today. So I figured since we're doing the show today, let's honor Hulk Hogan. A little disclaimer, you know, I don't know why I need to say this, but I'm going to say this. Listen, obviously Hulk Hogan passed away. He was going through some legal trouble. He was going through some trouble with the media. His reputation was a little tarnished. I don't agree with anything that happened with that side of the story. But listen, Hulk Hogan is the biggest, greatest wrestler of all time. Not the most technical. I don't think the dude really knew how to wrestle, but the character of Hulk Hogan, the multi-mega sensation that was Hulk Hogan, we cannot just deny his dominance in pop culture, in wrestling, in just everything. But we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend. That is Hulk Hogan. But we do need to start. We are not going to start inside the squared circle because we have breaking news. We have, hold on. Breaking news alert sound. Ready? Are you ready for it? We've been waiting for it. We've been waiting for it, and we've been waiting for it. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron James is going to Philly. Yes, LeBron James, the king, the GOAT, the Hulk Hogan of wrestling, brother. He is going to be a Philadelphia 76er. Wow. We were thinking it was going to be Golden State. We were thinking he was going to go back home to Cleveland. We were thinking he might go take his talents again to South Beach. But no, he is staying, or he is leaving, and going to Philadelphia for his 24th and amazing career. Wow. What a roster they have. Jaylen Brown, they just got from Boston. They got Joel Embiid. Now they got LeBron James. Oh my, what a game changer that's going to be in the NBA. We were wondering about it. They were like, come on, you need to tell us where we're going so we can make this schedule. But we have it officially. LeBron James is going to the Philadelphia 76ers. I've always kind of cared about the Sixers a little bit. You know, I like Allen Iverson. One of my favorite non-Maverick players of all time. But now, you know, the king, the GOAT, he's going to end his career in Philadelphia. I don't know where that means LeBron is going to go, but all we know is, hey, the king has a new throne in the city of brotherly love. But big news. That's exciting. That is exciting news for all of sports. You know, we'll get more info. Not really more info, because what more info can you need that, hey, LeBron's going to go to Philadelphia 76ers. But what a momentous change that is for the platform of the NBA. It's going to be a good season coming up in a few months. And, you know, Giannis is now in Miami Heat. LeBron is going to Philadelphia. Things are changing in the NBA, and the shakeups are monumental. But let's go back. Let's go start it how we usually start it. Yeah, we're going to talk more about LeBron and the NBA when we get to that section. But let's start it. Raw was just a few days ago, and we are just 2 weeks away from SummerSlam. Well, we were Monday, and now we're 1 week away. But let's talk about it. Let's be about it. Let's see. July 20th, we got Raw results. Braun Breaker and Austin Theory defeated Javon Evans and Dragon Lee in a non-title matchup. Now, I like this team of Javon Evans and Dragon Lee. That boy Bouncy and the other man Flippy. So we got that going. That's great. The athleticism with everything. But it is going to be... Alpha Academy came out trying to stop him once again. But they said, nope, Maxine. We're not part of the Alpha Academy anymore. Smacked Otis. Smacked Cesaro. And I think that's going to lead to SummerSlam. We're going to get to SummerSlam in a few days. Or in a few moments, go over the card. Because there's matches just announced tonight. Matches announced for on Monday. But one thing about Monday Night Raw, it was in Detroit. And you know who's from Detroit? Danhausen. Yes, Detroithausen. He was all over this card. Danhausen came out, cursed the New Day. Not the New Day. That'd be funny. The Judgment Day. Sorry. Wrong day of the week. Cursed the Judgment Day. Had a little help from Joe Hendry, which is like Babe's Avengers over there. You know, she loves Danhausen. She loves Joe Hendry. So, seeing Danhausen on this show, very, very easily. You know, they had a little funny backstage promo where it's like Danhausen and Joe Hendry and Adam Pearce were talking, and then JD McDonough and Judgment Day were like, hey, here's your money. Or like Danhausen's like, take the money. And JD's like, this is all fake money. And he threw the bag behind him. And guess who's standing behind JD McDonough? I don't. Oba, family. So they're like, Oba, I'm pissed. JD, you're going to face Oba. And Oba just pretty much threw that man in outer space. And he is looking forward to his fight against Brock Lesnar in Hell in a Cell. So that was a quick, 1-2 punch. Then we got a little bit of promo, The Bloodline is all over this promotion. Seth Rollins came out, or Solo Sikoa came out, and he's like, hey, Seth Rollins, come on out here. And Seth's like, what do you want? I'm going to beat up your cousin, a.k.a. your uncle. Solo's like, hey, I know, I'm not trying to stop you from beating up Roman. I can help you. And Seth's like, I don't know if I can trust you. And Solo's like, you can trust me. And Seth Rollins like, I'll see about that. And then you had a really good match. Intercontinental Champion Penta and Chad Gable teamed up to face Rusev and Ethan Page. We know it's going to be Penta and Chad for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Chad Gable's hometown. Those four went at it. Great match. Gable locked in the ankle lock as Penta hit a Mexican destroyer on Ethan Page to secure the win. So the American and Mexican took on a Canadian and a Bulgarian. Right? Bulgarian? Great. Joe Hendry then came out. Joe Hendry and Dominic Mysterio had a one-on-one match. Listen, before we go over, there was a little bit of controversy on the internet because there was no women matches on the card. But, like I just said, you had Maxine furthering the divide between the Alpha Academy herself and Division. Then in this match, you had Danhausen coming out on Danhausen Mobile. Io Sky with her, Io chases Liv. That hypes up their SummerSlam match, and it just gives Danhausen and Joe Hendry the one-up over the Judgment Day. So, there might be not physical one-on-one, 1, 2, 3, but there were still women all over the show. Jacob Fatu defeated LA Knight. We know those 6 are going to go at it. But here's the thing. I'm glad Bubba, he brought this up at work. He said, why is Jacob Fatu, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso, which, we know they're all together, taking on LA Knight, who's a face, Solo Sikoa, who's a heel, and then you also have Royce Keys, who's kind of in between. And I'm like, that's a good point. I don't know. But, hey, wrestling on wrestling shows, let's get more of it. But after that, the Bloodline did stand tall at the end. But listen, SummerSlam looks like it's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. Next week, we're going to talk all about the final details of SummerSlam in Minneapolis, Minnesota. But let's talk about NXT too. NXT was on Wednesday or Tuesday, and we have a new arrival at NXT. It is Mike Santana. Yes, we thought he was going to join NXT. weeks ago. Now he is finally in NXT. He is going to take on, hopefully, the champion, Tony D'Angelo, in a match I would love to see. Listen, I watched NXT, and it's definitely a new vision of, I don't know who any of these people are. I don't watch NXT that much. You know, you know the ones that, you know, the Olafemi is now on Raw, the Javon Evans, the Ethan Pages, the Ricky Saints, who are all on the main roster. These new NXT guys, I mean, they're great. You know, I can't wait to fully know them and see their career get better and better and better. But, damn, I was like, who's that? Who's this? Naruku, a.k.a. Evil, he's doing great. He was in his feud with Tony D'Angelo. You have, what is this? Jackson Drake, great first name. He's part of the Vanity Project with Ricky Smokes, Brad Baylor, and Micah Lockwood, who was Bailey Humphrey from LFG. They're the tag team champions, and Jackson Drake was the Evolve champion. And then I'm just trying to look at like the NXT roster, really trying to get to know it, because I was like, who is that? What is this? What's going on? The NXT Women's Champion, I guess, Kendall Gray, she was from NXT, and she, well, obviously, because she's a champion, dummy. She's involved. NXT North American Champion, Miles Bourne, he is dating Stephanie Vesker. Good for him. And then the NXT Women's North American Champion, Zarya. We know those names. The Speed Championship is stupid. But the other ones I don't really know too well. You know, like Dark State, Shaquan Sugars, Tana Paxley. I know Lola Vice, she's going to be on the main card pretty soon. But yeah, this, this is a whole new, different NXT that we're used to. But still, they got a pay-per-view coming up in August. Heat Wave. But yeah, I mean, the Great American Bash, we had a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces. Javon Heights, Shiloh Hill, he's on a lot of stuff with Danhausen, who's also appeared in NXT last week. It's funny because Shiloh Hill's like, I need a tooth. And Danhausen's like, I got a lot of human tooths. You got a lot of human monies? He's like, I got about $20. And Danhausen's like, fine. But biggest thing, Mike Santana is, and now forever, not forever, but he is now in NXT. That is awesome. I've always been a fan of Mike Santana ever since his indie run in New York, and then his time with TNA and AEW. So good to see him in AEW. Good to see him in NXT. A lot of wrestling promotions, guys. A lot of things going on in this brain when it comes to wrestling. But yes, Mike Santana is NXT. But we can talk about AEW. I don't really watch it. I did listen. I honestly, I did not know they had a pay-per-view this Sunday. Had no clue. Had no clue. I was like, oh, they're gonna do it all in next month. But I guess they're doing AEW Dynasty. No, that was not Dynasty. No, after Forbidden Door, Redemption. Okay, all these one-word pay-per-views, brother. All right, July 26th, which is in 2 days. I did not know there was going to be. Is this a pay-per-view? Yeah, this is. So I guess we can look at the card because it has a full card. Tekla versus Willow Nightingale for the AEW Women's World Championship. That's going to be great. Mark Davis versus Andrade, AEW National Championship. The Painmaker, Chris Jericho versus Tommaso Ciampa in a no-holds-barred match. That sounds pretty exciting. Kyle Fletcher versus Bandito, AEW International Championship. Everyone is banned from ringside. Oh, okay. Cage and Cope, a.k.a. Edge and Christian, tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Okay. Moxley and Ospreay versus cousins Nick and Matt Jackson. I guess Ospreay's a Death Rider now. Haruki Shida versus Myra World for the AEW TBS Championship. A 6-way ladder match. We love ladder matches. Jack Perry versus the Beast Mortos versus Commander versus Mike Bailey versus Nick Wayne versus Al Colon. That sounds like a train wreck in a good way. And a double chain tag team match. Jay White and Juice Robinson versus the Dogs, Dave Finlay and Clark Connors. So yeah, it's a wrestling card with wrestling on it. So I'll check it out. Don't really have any predictions because I don't watch his program. But yeah, Jericho Tommaso match sounds good. Moxley and Ospreay versus Nick and Matt. That ladder match. So, yeah, no holds barred ladder match. Double chain tag team match. A lot of stipulations on a wrestling show there, Tony Khan. But hey, you book it, I know, good for you. But All In is coming out in August next month, and it is going to be Omega or Kevin Knight. Wait, did I not talk about Kevin Knight versus Omega? Is that official? Oh yeah, Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega. So, I don't think Kenny Omega is going to lose the championship just yet, but yeah, it's going to be Omega versus Ospreay at All In. But is there somebody we can see at All In? Bayley. Yes, Bayley. Everybody loves Bayley. She came out, she was a hugger, but now she's not. She might be out of the company. One of the biggest backstage stories is Bayley's reported contract status. Rumors suggest she has not signed a new WWE deal yet, and AEW is said to have interest if she reaches free agency. At this point, this remains speculation, not a confirmed departure. I think we've seen the end of Bayley in the WWE. I think we're going to see Davina Rose, a.k.a. her indie name, in AEW, just as the contract or the once she gets released or the contract expires. Bayley is going to end 2026 in AEW. I don't know when, I don't know where, or AEW, but yeah, it pretty much is going to be Bayley in AEW. Which is good, because, even though I don't care for Mercedes Moné too much, I'm a big fan of Bayley, so wherever she ends up, I'll be watching. I'm a fan. I am a 2 thumbs for Bayley, 2 thumbs for Davina Rose, and, yeah, get for Bayley and whatever she wants to do. Because what more can she do in WWE? She's won all the championships. She's won the Rumble. She's Money in the Bank. Go. It's okay. That's why it's good to have more wrestling promotions, just one dominant corporation. Okay? You move around. You spread your wings and fly. Okay? Fly, baby, fly. Speaking about somebody who's making history, Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena, a.k.a. Ember Moon, has officially surpassed Roman Reigns' modern-era U.S. record for the longest World Championship reign, even though it doesn't count as the same. Sparking debate among fans over how our Ring of Honor and WWE title reigns should be compared. Now, we know Roman Reigns held the Universal Championship for 1,616 days. I know that because 616 is my birthday. Or, you know what I mean? Right? Am I stupid or am I dumb? Yeah, okay. 116 days. What? And then Athena's hold the Ring of Honor's Women's Championship for 1,320 days. It's not the same. Accomplishment, not the same. I don't think we need to see a woman hold that record for that long. I think it kind of holds the other women down. Even though in Ring of Honor there is the ROH Television Women's Championship, ROH Women's Pure Championship, but I don't think it's the same. But still congrats. That is amazing for Athena. And, that's a long damn time. That is a long damn time. But, moving on. Dark Side of the Ring, episode 4. We saw the saga with Jeff Jarrett, not once, not twice, but 3 times. This episode, Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe back in 2005. I think, what did they say, AWA Mid-South? The whole match was brutal. It was bloody. They were fighting in the crowd. They were slamming people or slamming each other, throwing Bryce Remsburg over the ropes. It was a all-out brawl, and it was a great episode. I was like, how you gonna do a match? How you gonna do Dark Side of the Ring on a match? A person, a career, a promotion, I understand. But a match? Chef's kiss. One of my favorite episodes. Necro Butcher, I have listen, I once saw Necro Butcher almost butcher a poor guy. My good friend Sixto. They had a little indie match in 2012. Things went a little on the crazy end. Necro did what Necro does, and 6-0. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad what Necro did to him. But I do remember the next morning waking up, coming downstairs and seeing Necro Butcher sleeping on the couch. He was a nice guy, though. I mean, besides being the shit out of your friend, he was a nice guy. So, good, good to see, too. And Necro, it said that he had cancer. He overcame the cancer. Good for him. Good guy. Crazy guy. But Dark Side of the Ring has been doing phenomenal work since, the first episode, season 7. I know next episode is about the Big Boss Man. I'm looking forward to that one. And, Dark Side of the Ring, they asked, what match do you want to see if we're going to do a match? I know it. What more Dark Side of the Ring is Mickey Knuckles versus the one guy. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Mickey Knuckles versus Mike Levy. Yes, Mike Levy. Now, if you don't know what the Mike Levy incident is, I will tell you quick. On June 21st, 2008, this from Reddit, the IWA Mid-South held a match for its third annual Queen of the Deathmatch tournament with Deathmatch Queen veteran Mickey Knuckles against the White Lion Mike Levy. Mike Levy was an untrained wrestler who had expressed interest in competing in the tournament, and by some wrestling-based message board, back in the day, message boards, that's all we did. We went to school, got home, and went on the message boards. Got Ian Rotten, learned about this, and flew in Levy as a joke. The match was supposed to be a squash win for Mickey, but in the course of the match, Mike Levy began to attempt some offense of his own, including a few stiff headbutts and weapon shots. But due to inexperience, his technique was awkward, and he infuriated Mickey. Made her mad. They continued to have a stiff match, which Mickey eventually defeated Mike Levy. Which is fine. It's fine. Not fine, going off script, trying to hurt each other. But after the match, promoters Devin Moore and Tank, I don't know who Tank is, ran out to the ring and proceeded to assault Mike Levy viciously, including full force kicks to the head and leaping stomps. First by Moore, then by heavier Tank. From the second rope, which caused Levy's face to impact with an aluminum ladder with gut-wrenching force. Ian Rotten joined in on the beatdown, and he, along with Tank and Devin Storm, all shot insulting promos on Levy and told him to learn how to sell. Even Ian's young son took a kendo stick to Levy's back, asking his father's permission first. Towards the end of the attack, Ian Rotten took Knuckles to his side and told the crowd that because of Mike Levy's inexperience, Mickey was left with a knot on her head and could potentially ruin a TV deal. Ian was referencing appearance in TNA. Mickey Knuckles worked TNA for a little bit as, I think, Moose. Not that Moose, another Moose. Moose Knuckle? Is that why they named? Oh, God, I just realized that. One of, if not the most effed up things in wrestling, Karma's Row, as Mickey would break a leg a few months later. Yes, I do remember that. And TNA would fire her. Ian is now suffering from CTE. So, listen, if you want to do a Dark Side of the Ring, you got to find Mike Levy. Get Mickey Knuckles. I know she's still doing independence. Ian Rotten, I think, is still around. And, that would be a good Dark Side of the Ring if you're going to do another match. But, geez, what, Dark Side of the Ring has been great. A little bit of good news, though, we talked about some wrestlers being released 90 days ago. 90 days are up. So, for the Motor City Machine Guns, Kerry Sane, Santos Escobar, Zoe Stark, Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, Dexter Loomis, and Bo Dallas, you are now free to do anything you want. Your 90 days no compete is up. Motor City Machine Guns probably gonna go to AEW. Joe Gacy, I think he did something. He's doing something with Killer Cross, and Nikki Storm and Big Damo. They got their promotion, so can't wait for them. Can't wait to see what they're gonna do in the independents. Like Matt Cardona has kind of taught everybody, grass is greener on the other side too. You can do life outside of WWE. So good for them. Their 90 days is up. But we got to start. We got to talk about them. I don't know where to go, but we're just going to talk from the heart. We're going to just talk from the heart. Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, passed away this day last year. Kind of made me want to do this show. 71, I don't know where to start. Hulk Hogan. What can you say about Hulk Hogan that a lot of people have already said? He got his start. I read his book. You know, he wanted to train to be a wrestler, do his local promotion. They broke his leg and said, come back when it's healed up. He came back, went to the AW. I'm going to miss a few things, go here and there. I can't really talk all about Hulk Hogan's career in a 1 hour episode. But AWA Minneapolis kind of got his set, you know. He was also, before this, right here in Rocky 3 as Thunder Lips. I think that was the first time he was like, you know, he was in the WWE back in the day. Vincent J. McMahon, not Vincent McMahon that we know. He's like, hey, Vince, Dad, I'm going to go film Rocky 3. And they're like, no, you're not. And he's like, okay, well, I want to body slam Sylvester Stallone, whether you like it or not. And Vince is like, hey, then you're fired. He's like, okay, bye. Did Rocky 3, Thunder Lips, then went on to join AWA, American Wrestling Association by Vern Gagne in 1981. He was a villain, you know. I don't really know what he did. Let's see. He repeatedly challenged Bob Winkle for the AW World Heavyweight Championship, with most of the matches ending disqualification. April 82, Hogan seamlessly won the championship, but the decision was later overturned. Hulk Hogan introduced the term, here we go, fun fact, a little FF. Hogan introduced the term Hulkamania during a June 15th, 1982 appearance on The Tonight Show following his role of Rocky 3. Hulkamania gained widespread popularity. Despite his growth, I think it was really to the point where Hulk Hogan got so big that Vincent McMahon was like, hey, get back to WWE. And Hulk Hogan was like, all right, fine. And then we all know, January 23rd, 1984, at Madison Square Garden, he defeated the Iron Sheik to become WWF champion for the very first time. Hulkamania is here. Hulkamaniacs, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and believe in yourself. Then he went on to just become the biggest thing you've ever seen right there. Together, the WrestleMania 19 match was who created Hulkamania? Was it Vince McMahon? Was it Hulk Hogan? They had a great match. Main event to the first WrestleMania with Mr. T against Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. Went on WrestleMania 2, King Kong Bundy. Then WrestleMania 3. The biggest match you can think of, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. He body slams the Giant, pins the Giant for his first loss in 15 years. And Hulk Hogan's WrestleMania, Hulkamania is running wild. Then he loses the championship and a little bit of like twin magic, which, if you know me, I don't like twins. Loses the title, but then the President Jack Tunney was like, hey, title's vacated. In the tournament, WrestleMania 4, went against Andre the Giant, double disqualification, loses the championship belt, but still at the end of the night was there like, hey, bro. Kind of trumped himself, and, you got Macho Man and Liz holding the title, and Hulk Hogan's like, hey, it should have been me. But this is not the last time Hulk Hogan won the WWF Championship. He's won the title, I think, 6 times. Then, no holds barred. He faced off against Zeus. The TV screen became a reality when he faced Zeus in the no holds barred match. 1990, he won the Rumble. Then he went on to face Ultimate Warrior in the main event. Champion versus champion. Loses against the Warrior. Also lost against Macho Man, WrestleMania 5. The Mega Powers explode. Miss Elizabeth, you got lust in your eyes, Hogan. Great thing. And then he just kept going on. 91, won the Rumble. Defeated Sergeant Slaughter. WrestleMania 7. Went on to lose to The Undertaker. Oh, my neck, brother. Didn't drop him on his neck. Ric Flair helped The Undertaker win that title. That title was vacated. 92 Royal Rumble with a tear in my eye. Ric Flair wins that title. They had their chance right there. They had Ric Flair as WWF champion versus Hulk Hogan, but they didn't have it because house show sales didn't sell well. Stop it. Stop it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Vacated the championship in 92. Then he faced Psycho Sid Justice in the main event of WrestleMania 7 or 8. Disqualification because Papa Shango was too busy tying the shoes. No, he got the wrong cue. Wasn't Papa Shango's fault. Then it was the steroid trial in 92 because you don't get 24-inch pythons from drinking milk and saying your prayers. Kind of held him back a little bit. Like, hey, Hogan, Terry, we're going to kind of relax on this, Hulkamania stuff because, it might be in trouble. Might be in jail. But everything worked out for him. Came back in 93, and him and Brutus were like, let's do a tag team. And they're like, fine. WrestleMania 9, usually WrestleMania 9, because it wasn't any other pay-per-views back in the day. It's all WrestleMania. Him and Brutus lost to the Money Inc., but later in the night, Bret Hart was like, you know what, I'm tired. Hulk Hogan, why don't you become WWF champion? Pins Yokozuna, becomes WWF champion for the so many times. And then in June, in the first annual King of the Ring pay-per-view on June 13th, Hogan loses the WWF Championship to Yokozuna after Hogan was blinded by a fireball shot by Harvey Wippleman. Why don't they do that stuff anymore? This was Hulk Hogan's last WWF appearance until 2002 after continuing his feud on the International House Show with Yokozuna until August 93. Hogan was sat out for the rest of the contract year. Now, Hulk Hogan was in the crossroads. Him and Vince, they had everything, but they were like, hey, Hogan, hey, Vince, I'm going to go film Thunder in Paradise, the TV show. There's Linda, his wife. They're like, you know what? I don't think that's going to work. We're not a big, I don't want you to go film a TV show. Then they're like, you know what? I'm going to go join WCW. Yes, WCW, why I'm wearing the shirt. Hulk Hogan joined it. And then all of a sudden, in March 1994, Hogan made his first appearance in WCW, coming in the MGM Disney Studios with Jimmy Hart. Made his in-ring debut, Bash at the Beach, defeated Hulk Hogan. Then got in a lot of weird shit, okay? You got the Dungeon of Doom, and then you got this, and Doomsday Cage. The Giant and everything. Weird. But he was the WCW champion. Then, Bash at the Beach, 1996. We've been talking about it for the last month and a half. Hulk Hogan turned heel for the first time in nearly 15 years by attacking Randy Savage and forming the NWO. And Hulk Hogan ran shot through the company. Just go watch the NWO. And I love. We're doing the Chronicles of the NWO. This is the peak. He beat guys like, Lex Luger beat him for the title, but he came back. Starrcade 97. We'll talk about that maybe one day. Yeah, and then, he's kind of going a little bit, still losing the championship to Goldberg. Then, his feud with, Jay Leno and Karl Malone, and then teaming with Dennis Rodman, Diamond Dallas Page. Then he had the rematch with Ultimate Warrior in late 96, which was shit. And then, he was trying to become president, not gonna lie. Came back to WCW 99. The whole finger poking doom was bullshit. Look up the finger poking doom. It is not something you should be proud of. And, final years, Hogan was in and out. Bash at the Beach 2000. When he laid down for Jeff Jarrett, and pretty much Vince Russo said, that piece of shit will never be in this company again. Well, a year from then, nobody was in the company because it was ended. And, then he kind of did his little thing. That 2002 No Way Out, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall came back as the original NWO to take out The Rock and cost Stone Cold Steve Austin a chance of becoming the undisputed WWF champion. And then, WrestleMania 18, the main event. Hulk Hogan versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. The two biggest wrestlers of all time. Wait a second. Wait, what? Sorry. What is it? Hogan faced The Rock, and Stone Cold faced Scott Hall? Huh? And neither of them main event of the show? Well, that was not good. We all know what the real main event of WrestleMania 18 was. The Rock and Hogan, they had their match. It was great. And then he got kicked out of the NWO. Came back in the boas and the yellow and red. Came the WWF champion. You know what? I think this is a true fact. I might be wrong. Hogan defeated Triple H at Backlash on April 21st to win the undisputed WWF Championship, becoming the final WWF champion before the company was renamed WWE in May 2002. Lost to The Undertaker, Judgment Day, and one of the worst chokeslams of all time. Feuded with Kurt Angle. Had that match with Vince McMahon, which is great, in WrestleMania 19. Kind of did a few things. Mr. America, where it's like Hulk Hogan or 5, and then Mr. America was pretty much Hulk Hogan the whole time. But that was Hulk Hogan's last time in the WWE for a few years. Then in April 2005, got into the Hall of Fame by Sylvester Stallone, which makes sense. Had a few matches. The Shawn Michaels match, which was an absolute train wreck. The match with Randy Orton in 2006. And that was it. This marked Hogan's final WWE match. A WrestleMania Saturday's main event alongside Brooke Hogan when she attacked Randy Orton, defeated Randy Orton at SummerSlam. And then TNA happened. We're not going to get into TNA. Came back again. WrestleMania 30, called the Superdome the Silverdome. Looked like he was stuck in 1987. And then, he got into the Hall of Fame. And then the scandal. We all know the scandal. I don't want to get into it, but he said some racist things while not realizing he was being filmed or recorded. And that is pretty much when it went downhill. Came back after a few years, was booed mercilessly. And the last time we saw him was January 6, 2025. Hogan made his final appearance at a professional wrestling event during Raw, where, alongside Jimmy Hart, he was heavily booed by the crowd while received widespread coverage in media. So, yeah, it was, he's had a lot of, to be that big and not have scandals is, something like that follows you around forever. But hey, he was a 6-time WWF champion, a 1-time WWE Tag Team champion, a 2-time Royal Rumble champion, a 3-time Hall of Famer, 1 time in 2005 by himself, 2020 as a member of the NWO, and 2026 match versus Andre the Giant, 6-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion, just, match of the year in 85, 88, 90, and 2002. Rest of the year, 87, 91, 94. And just, just the other stuff, too, that he did. All his products, the movies, the reality show. His filmography, Rocky III, No Holds Barred, Suburban Commando, Mr. Nanny, Three Ninjas Hiding in a Mega Mountain, who, no joke, is one of my favorite movies growing up. I watched that movie over and over and over. Fan of Three Ninjas, Rocky, Colt, and Tom Tom. And then the television, Hogan's Knows Best was great. Thunder in Paradise wasn't really that popular, but still, he's been in all the video games. He's just, the biggest wrestling superstar of all time. And rest in peace to Terry Bollea. But let's move on, because there's a whole thing I don't even think we talked about. We didn't even talk about Saturday night's main event. Saturday night's main event took place Saturday night in the main event. Yeah, we didn't talk about it, Madison Square Garden. We did a show, but I had to go to work, so we didn't get the results. We're going to talk about it real quick. Trick Williams defeated Laredo Kid. Fatal Influence are now the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Defeated Paige and Brie Bella. Danhausen defeated JD McDonough with a little help from Cat Housen. Yes, Carl Anthony Towns chokeslam Dominic Mysterio through a table, and Layla Valkyria pretty much ended Bayley's WWE career. And CM Punk and Cody Rhodes defeated Gunther and Sami Zayn by pinfall. That means Sami and Gunther are not in the SummerSlam match. And at the end, CM Punk went to go, hey, I'm leaving. I won. Put the title around him. Hit Cody Rhodes in the face. And Cody's like, I think you did it on purpose. And Punk's like, I didn't do that on purpose. But, we'll look at SummerSlam real quick. We got Liv versus Io match we know. Obo Brock, Hell in a Cell. Roman versus Seth, World Heavyweight Championship. Penta Chad, Intercontinental Champion. CM Punk Cody, like we just said, for the Undisputed WWE Championship. LA Knight, Solo Skull, Royce versus Bloodline, Jacob, Jay, and Jimmy. A ladder match for the interim. Why is there an interim title? Stupid. Tiffany Stratton, Jay Cargill, Chelsea Green, and Charlotte Flair versus one TBD. Gunther versus Nick Aldis, who I'm so excited to see come back. Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio. The winner will keep the $100,000 Danhausen stole from Judgment Day. Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor. Who, do we even talk about SmackDown? We are all over today's show right now. And we have so much to talk about, and we're like 40 minutes in. Fatal Influence. Nikki Bella is back. Nikki Bella has returned. So it's going to be Nikki and Brie and Paige versus Fatal Influence. And Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin. Good to see Corbin back for the WWE United States Championship. SmackDown, it was just, hey, we got SummerSlam coming up. I'm going to fight you, you're going to fight me, we're going to get these matches together. So that's pretty much what SmackDown was. Nick Aldis signed a contract where he is no longer, I don't know if it's for now or permanently, he is no longer the SmackDown general manager because he's going to face Gunther at SummerSlam. So that was SmackDown. Nothing else. Nikki Bella coming back, which is, of course, big news. But we need to talk about this. We need to talk about UFC Fight Night just the other day, or last week. Dricus du Plessis defeated Kamaru Usman by unanimous decision. I really thought Usman was going to win. But you remember what we said, kids. If you want to know how to get a good bet in betting, always go against who I say is going to win. Dricus du Plessis defeated Kamaru Usman by decision. 54-5, 49-46, 49-46. Christian Leroy Duncan defeated Jared Cannonier. I knew Christian Leroy Duncan was going to win. So, Chase Hooper with another submission win. Good to see him. Fatima Klein made a huge win against Tabitha Ricci. And then a bunch of people that don't have Wikipedia pages won. This weekend, we have Ankalaev versus Guskov in Abu Dhabi. Ankalaev, former light heavyweight champion. Probably going to win. Most likely going to win. Steve Erceg, he's fighting. And then a lot of fighters that have V's at the end of their name. So, there's going to be a card. I think it's early ass o'clock in the morning. So, we'll have to check that out. Come back and talk about it. Big news too. Conor Bean versus Alex Garcia. Not Alex Garcia. Ryan Garcia. Zuffa Boxing. Probably the biggest boxing match Zuffa's put on so far. Obviously, that's not debatable. That's going to be coming up in a few weeks. Ryan Garcia has quite a name for himself, and so does Conor Bean. I think Conor is somebody that they're really looking forward to pushing. Dana White's talking about this September 12th, T-Mobile Arena, right down the street. Ryan Garcia, 25-2. Conor Ben, 25-1 from the UK. Number 1 ranked welterweight. Number 5 ranked welterweight. So it's going to be, one of those fights where Dana is going to push very heavily. Going to be exciting. Good to see a boxing match that does not have an influencer. Tyson Fury won today. He stops Maurice Rock, who ends the fight on the stool after 7 rounds in Thailand. I think this is a warm-up fight for the future fight again against Anthony Joshua, who is fighting Christian Pringa in their upcoming clash. Both of them made weight. Joshua faces off against Pringa in a crucial tune-up fight before potential blockbuster showdown with Tyson Fury. Yes. Mike Perry is back in the MMA octagon, taking on Dylan Dennis. That's going to be a fight set for a new promotion. First dual arena event is heading to Orlando next month. Now, Dylan Dennis is a former Bratwurst winner. He's a goofball, but his submission skills are amazing. And Mike Perry has... Oh, what am I saying? Mike Perry's going to knock the fuck out of Dylan Dennis. What am I saying? I can't be strategic about this. Platinum Mike Perry is going to put a beat down on Dylan Dennis. But speaking about putting a beat down, we are second half now in the MLB, and we're going to talk about it. Second half preview, rankings, projections, and playoff odds. Look forward to it. Let's see. I think this is the Tier 1. This is from ESPN. Tier 1, the first Big Four. The first Big Four, the Dodgers, okay? They're projected to go 102-60. Pretty much 100% odds to make playoffs. Milwaukee Brewers projected to go 98-64. Playoff odds 99.6. Tampa Bay projected to go 94-68. Playoff odds 98.9. Atlanta Braves projected final record 92-70. Tier 2, largest threats, the Yankees, they're 97%. Cubs, 82%. Phillies, 77%. The Seattle Mariners, 55%. I don't know why they're on there. Tier 3, contenders in the mix, Cleveland Guardians, Chicago White Sox, and the Miami Marlins, too. They're looking good. The Pirates, the Cardinals, and Nationals. Tier 4, in it, thanks to the muddled AL. Rangers, Red Sox, who are, listen, I will be honest with you, the Boston Red Sox, they are on a hot streak. 53-49. I want to say they have won. They're 9-1 the last 10, so they're looking good. I don't want to admit it. White Sox back in first place on 2 games, but Minnesota Twins, Astros, and Tigers. Orioles and Blue Jays, Tier 5, playing their way out of contention. So, pretty much, we got the second half looking forward, the projections, but it is time to give the Bratwurst Award. I've said many times that the Bratwurst Award is very vague, very, very broad, very broad. You can have a really bad game, you win the Bratwurst Award. You can have a no play, win the Bratwurst Award. You can say something stupid, win the Bratwurst Award. And you can rupture both your testicles and win the Bratwurst Award because the A's rookie, Joshua Kuroda ruptured both his testicles, or at least one of the testicles, and is on the 10-day list. I'm going to watch it right here for you. I have not seen this. Oh, yeah, he ruptured his ball. That does not feel good. So, for rupturing your testicles contusions, Joshua Kuroda Carrera, or whatever you say your last name is, you won the Bratwurst Award. Welcome to Brat Said That. You are officially a Bratwurst Award winner because sometimes when bad shit happens, you win the award. So, hopefully everything works out to you. Little bit of NFL news. Tony Romo arrested on suspicion of OWI. I don't know what OWI stands for, and I went to college. Somewhat. OWI stands for operating while intoxicated or operating while impaired. It is a legal term used in the U.S., like Indiana, Michigan, and Wisconsin, instead of DUI, to describe the crime of operating a vehicle with alcohol or drugs in your system. Well, Tony Romo, you played for the Cowboys, and, arrested on suspicion of operating under the influence. I'm sure you're fine. Unfortunately, DUIs and OWIs are very common, and I don't think they should be. But hey, we do got a preview. You know, like I said, ESPN posted another article ranking the NFL top 10 quarterbacks going into 2026. This is from the executive scouts. Number 1 from your Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Let's do it, okay? We're going to talk about FIFA, but Josh Allen, if there was a third place team, the Buffalo Bills would be the third place team all the time. Number 2, of course, Patrick Mahomes. Batman's Joker. Josh Allen's Mahomes. All right. Matthew Stafford, future Hall of Famer. Great first name for the Rams, number 3. Number 4, everybody's kitty patootie from the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow. He's number 4. Number 5, cousin Lamar from the Ravens. I'm looking forward to the Ravens. They did cut Diego Pavia. So, you know, we talked about that. That wasn't drafted, went to the Ravens camp. Apparently they waived him. Number 6 is Dax Prescott. Yeah, I guess Dax number 6 for the Cowboys. Whatever. Justin Herbert, Chargers number 7. Drake May from the Patriots. You gotta do better than what you did in the Super Bowl. Jared Goff from the Lions at number 10. Caleb Williams from the Bears. Honorable mentions: Sam Darnold, Jalen Daniels, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts. But one of the biggest, we have confirmed it. It is true. Fernando is officially a Raider. Yes, we know Fernando was going to be a Raider, but he just signed a rookie contract for the Raiders, and he is making money. Yeah. Mendoza signed a 4-year, $57.27 million fully guaranteed deal with a 5th-year option. So, welcome to Vegas, Fernando. I'm looking so forward to you being a Raider, even though your T-shirts are $50. Let's move to the NBA. We talked about LeBron James going to Philadelphia. There's not much more to talk about. But, former number 1 pick, I want to make sure I say his name right. Zachary Rashier, number 1 pick back in 2024, is now at Maverick. Yes, the Atlanta Hawks said, we don't need you no more. And Maverick's like, hey, we like French people. Bottles on it. Come over here. And he's now at Maverick. So we have Cooper Flagg, Kylie Irving, and Zachary Rashier, all 3 first-round number 1 picks. So, you know, we'll see how he does. I'm looking forward to it. LeBron James is now a 76er. We talked about that. A little NHL news. The Philadelphia Flyers, talking about Philly, have agreed to terms with defenseman Jamie Drysdale on a 4-year contract worth $26 billion. Drysdale will count $6.5 million against the salary cap through the 2029-30 NHL season. Excuse me. And, yeah. You know, one thing we have not done, we talked about Caitlin Clark a few days ago. We haven't looked at the standings in the WNBA. I don't know really how that works, but there's a Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. And I guess the Lynx are Minnesota. They're 22-6. The Valkyrias, who's our new team, 19-8. The Aces, 18-8. Wings, Fire, Sparks, Mercury, and Storm. Shocker, number 1 team in the Eastern Conference is the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark. The Atlanta Dream, Liberty, Mystics, Tempo, Sky, and Sun. So, yeah, there is, 17 teams, 18 teams in the WNBA, and, let's go Aces. I don't really know other things, but, hey, the FIFA World Cup is over. We can pretend to care about soccer. And the champions. Congrats to Spain on winning the whole thing. Yes, Spain defeated Argentina. Spain first place. Argentina second place. England third place. Sorry, Child Liberty. France did not make the podium. But hey, good for Spain. Look, that game was long. I don't know why that game was long. I don't know how soccer works. I know a little bit how FIFA works, how the World Cup works, but damn, that was a long-ass game. Oh, that was a long game. Spain wins. We're moving on from FIFA, moving on for soccer to MLS. But, yeah, congrats to Spain. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit more about the FIFA World Cup now that it's over, now that we can move on. But before we move on, let's do a little recap. Spain, current champions, second title, 2026, fourth place is France. Top scorer, Mbappe, 10 goals. Best player, Rodri. Best young player, Paul Gabarsi. Best goalkeeper, and the Fair Play Award goes to Netherlands. No, he's in Sweden, I think. But yeah, it's here, it's over, and now we can move on to 2030, which will take place in Morocco, Portugal, and Spain. I know that teams already qualified. Morocco, host city. Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, Portugal, and Spain. Pretty sure that's how that's work. I think. I don't know. If Brat Said That is not on ESPN by that time, I'll be surprised. By the way, ESPN, a lot of layoffs. Pat McAfee making $60 million. So, good for Pat. But before we get off, I had to put a little bit of miscellaneous. Not only did we lose Hulk Hogan, we lost the man, the myth, the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, John Michael Osbourne, July 22nd, 2025. Listen, I grew up with an older brother who loved Ozzy, so his influence fell on me too. Black Sabbath, Paranoid, Master of Reality. Just the thing, I knew him, as the Osbourne guy. I knew him as the bumbling dad on the Osbournes, but just everything he's done has just been magical. Everything he did as solo artist on with Black Sabbath, just his songs. I mean, you can't listen to Iron Man without just feeling like you're just pumped. You're just pumped. Him and Sharon been together forever. That love is, unfortunately ended with his passing. But, yeah, he was in a lot of movies. Ozfest. I remember him in, not the television, Little Nicky, he bit the head off a bat. I wish I could do a whole series about Ozzy. I would love to. Maybe on his birthday. When's his birthday? Let's see. Maybe we'll come back. December 3rd, James' birthday too. Jimmy's birthday. So Ozzy, Prince of Darkness, 6 kids, heavy metal, from 1967 to 2025. He's won so many awards. Let's just look at his music, his discography, just the Diary of a Madman. Let's see. Crazy Train is one of my favorite songs. Mr. Crawley, Bark of the Moon, Paranoid, No More Mama, I'm Coming Home. Oh man, I miss Ozzy. Dreamer, even in later days, I Don't Want to Stop. I remember that used to be like Edge's theme song for the longest time, or WWE used the theme song. The Osbournes, like I said, I love that show. He's got the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Birmingham has a Walk of Stars. And Ozzy's got one too. So, shout out to Ozzy. The Back to Beginning concert 1 week before he died was like him saying goodbye to the world. But rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. It's like, they weren't directly my childhood, even though they were a little, they were already established when I was born. But it's sad to see these guys passing away. So, this episode is Brat Said That is dedicated to Ozzy, dedicated to Hogan, and dedicated to you. So, let's end the show because I've been on for an hour. We did an hour. So, remember, always follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube. We need the subscribers. This show was a lot. The show had a lot of everything. The show was a little bit of that. a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of Brat. So let's recap it. Saturday night's main event, Danhausen. Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk at SummerSlam. Raw and SmackDown happen. SummerSlam next week. We'll talk about it on Monday's show. Mike Santana has been now in the NXT. Good for him. Dark Side of the Ring. We're going to review the Big Boss Man next week. Bayley, is she contract expired? Probably. And rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. This tonight, Ankalaev versus Guskov in Abu Dhabi. And Mike Perry versus Dylan Donis, MMA fight next month. Second half preview at MLB. Bratwurst Award goes to Joshua Kara. I think I said his name like 6 different times. Injuring his ruptured testicle. NFL ranked the quarterbacks going in next season, and Josh Allen tops the list. Tony Romo arrested on suspicion of OWI. We didn't talk about the Summer League. I think the Warriors won the title, whatever. And LeBron James is a 76er. Spain defeated Argentina, and rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. So, remember, love yourself, love each other, and love sports. And we will be back on starting after SummerSlam. We'll come back on next week, maybe in the middle of the week, maybe Wednesday. And we'll be back twice, coming in August every week. And then I'm working on updating this production to getting Brat Said That to not be so minimal. So, thank you guys. I love you all. Enjoy your weekend. And, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, drink your milks. And be kind to everybody, no matter their skin color, their background, or their sexual orientation. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.